Hi folks, this is Professor Nebulous again, coming your way from Point Blank. You see, sometimes when some of us talk, people will accuse us of being unnecessarily ethnically chauvinistic. They say, oh, come on, why you talk about this? What you are saying is utopia. It's not utopia. It's something that can be done if there is political will. You will see this interview is an exposure, the secret of why and how the Fulani have been dominating Nigeria, and they are planning to continue to dominate unless something happens. See, somebody will say, well, after all, the person that is there now is from the southwest, is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yes, but I want to tell you, let me bust your bubble. Bola Tinubu is there, yes. He's going to spend, all things being equal, 8 years. After 8 years, what happened? Who takes over from him? Without true federalism being inaugurated, or he overseeing the inauguration of true federalism, my goodness, everything will come back to square zero. I want to tell you, the reason why your children get out of school for years without job is because of what I'm going to tell you now. The reason why NSAS occurred in the first place is because of what I want to tell you now. The reason why your children will score high point in JAM and yet they will not get admission, whereas those who did not even sit for exam or those who score poorly will gain admission, is why I want to tell you what I'm telling you right now. The reason why you are agonizing, the reason why you are frustrated, the reason why you are crying day and night, no food, nothing, is the reason why I'm going to tell you now. You better listen, and listen to the full tape of the interview I will show you hereafter. Now, when we have true federalism, all the components of the federation will compete with one another favorably, and the citizens of those components will work assiduously for the progress of their region. Right now, if you ask a Niger Delta man, why are you so apathetic? Why is the weather so common? What do you mean? After all, the oil that is gotten from my backyard is being used to, to develop other areas to the detriment of the place where they got it, and we are living in slum here. Ask somebody from Southwest, particularly Ondo State, where bitumen is oozing out. Bitumen, for your information, is an essential ingredient that you need to tar roads, and yet Ondo State does not have good roads. What an irony, okay? So, because extractive industry has been placed on the exclusive list all this while, and the federal government that does not know its left from right has prevented the state government from tapping these resources that is meant to develop their state. This is the evil of the pseudo-federalism we are practicing today. I tell you, if Bola Tinubu stays there for 8 years and he does not oversee the inauguration of true federalism, whatever he does will be in vain, because whoever is coming will betide us that the person who will take over will be from those who claim to be owners of Nigeria, the owners of government. Then we are doomed forever, because his deputy, I learned, is saying that true federalism is afoot. They don't even want to hear it at all. This is because of mental indolence. They don't want to work. They don't want to produce. They don't want to contribute to the production of what we develop Nigeria. They are so parasitic. They are, they rely on oil that they got it from oil. Come on. And true federalism will benefit everybody. So, for the youth and the agitators, where you should actually focus your advocacy right now is true federalism. Don't let that advocacy die. Don't let the zeal die in you. If there is no true federalism, Nigeria will continue to agonize. Those who are suffering marginalization will continue. You just imagine true federalism that will make the Southeast stand on its own, tap all its resources, harness all the resources, both human and minerals. Imagine what Aba will become. Imagine what Onitsha will become. That dreams of theirs, that they want to turn Onitsha to Japan, they want to turn Aba to South Korea and all that, will be realized when they are allowed to develop at their own pace. Then let's see whether everybody will not face, his own front and begin to develop. But as it is now, Nigeria is just like a big and omnibus that everybody wants to extract from, nobody wants to contribute to, and that's why we are dying economically. That's why everything seems turned upside down in Nigeria. There must be a change to this. And the only viable change that will outlast, that will outlive Bola Tinubu, is if he inaugurates true federalism. Otherwise, whatever he does now, I bet you, will be overturned if he leaves power in the next 8 years. All things being equal. All things being equal. Always remember that. All things being equal. I remain Professor Neblos. Most importantly, what I want you to watch in this video is this interview. It exposes everything. Why the dominance of the Fulani, how they've been dominating, and why and how they plan to continue to dominate unless something else happens. Watch it.
They drink, they fornicate, they do all the things that all human beings do. So it's not a question of religion. There's no question of anybody being truly a Muslim there. You know, even I knew a chief judge who was supposed to be leading Muslim prayers, who anytime he came to me in my official residence, he would put brandy or whiskey in a mug and be drinking, and they would smoke and all that. So I don't think it's religion. When they started this Sharia, how many of them are obeying the Sharia? How many of them? No, not none of their leaders. So it's not religion per se, but they use religion to deceive people and say, Hausas were not Muslims at all. So they say, well, let's give you a superior religion, we'll give you Islam. But that didn't apply to the South, because we've had Muslims in Yoruba land even before 14th century.
So truly, what we are fighting against, or what is going on, is clash of culture.
And civilizations.
And civilizations.
That's right.
Not really the Fulani versus the Igbo, or the Fulani versus the Yoruba.
No.
It's clash of civilizations.
Yes, clash of civilizations and clash of cultures. Yes, you're right.
That means we have not really integrated as a people.
Never. We have never been.
So the word the Nigerian people is a fallacy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Because, again, in those days, you would say there have always been Igbo markets, Hausa markets in Enugu. There have always been Sabos in Shagamu. But those Sabos were occupied by Hausas. Hausas are peaceful people. We traded in Kola North. We did. Even the few Fulanis that came with them at that time, when you had a Sabo in Shagamu or in Ibadan here, they would still look for one Fulani man and make him their Seriki.
How did the Hausa accept the domineering influence of the Fulani?
They were subdued.
Despite their large number.
Yes, they were subdued. Of course, they killed, they ruined, they extirpated their 7 kingdoms. They killed their 7 rulers and took over under the guise of religion. Another thing they used the word corruption. Oh, your people are corrupt. We are saints. Your people are corrupt. They've always used the word corruption to deceive people.
But the jihad is over. How come the Hausa man is yet to claim that Hausaness again?
It's just now that the efforts we are making in the South have begun to yield fruits. You will be surprised to hear that now in Hausa land, we now have Hausa Christians. Never had that before. Never. You now have Middle Belt Forum that are saying we are not Northerners, we are Middle Belters. We are not Northerners. Don't call us Northerners. Now, when you see a Jukum man or you see a Lantan man and you say you are Hausa or you are Fulani, he will be angry. He may even draw his dagger. Don't call me Fulani. I'm not Fulani. I'm not Hausa. What we did not know until recently is that when you call a Fulani man Hausa, he will be angry. He will say Banzani. Because he knows that I'm superior to Hausa. How can you say I'm Hausa? But before Buhari came to establish his suzerainty over Nigeria, we lumped all of them together for Northerners. And like I wrote some 4 years ago, there's no North. There's no North that we used to know. The North is dead. There's nothing called North anymore.
So there's a Fulani now standing on his own.
It's standing on its own. There's no more North. If they try any war today, oh God of mercy. The kind of cohesion you had in the army, the military in 1966, will never happen again in this country, if there is a country at all. You will not find a Hausa soldier now, an Igbo soldier going to Enugu to kill a fellow Igbo. You will not even find an Igbo soldier coming to Ibadan to kill a Yoruba man, or a Yoruba soldier going to Enugu to kill an Igbo man. It will not happen again. So the Lantan people, the Benue people will never ever allow themselves to be used by any Fulani mischief maker.
So if I'm getting you right, your argument is that the Fulani hegemony has been broken.
Dead.
If the Fulani hegemony has been broken,
Yes.
does it mean that the social structure of Nigeria is about to witness a very hard hit that will lead to a new Nigeria?
Yes, for those who I agree with you to the extent of the fact that there are still some people who want a Nigeria, a group that I don't belong to. But for such people, yes, with the weakening of Fulani hegemony, there could be a Nigeria that will integrate the Soba Fulanis, the town Fulanis, and still reconstruct, rebuild, and then have a Nigeria that should be. But I, as a person, as Tola Adeni, believe that it will take probably 1,000 years to change the mindset of a Fulani person whose philosophy is kill, maim, rape, send away people from their land and let me occupy it.
That is the Bush Fulani.
It is the Bush Fulani.
Not the town Fulani.
Not the town Fulani.
And the town Fulani is more in number.
No! The town Fulani is less than 1%.
How did you get that figure?
Oh, go and find out. Let them allow a sense. Who are the town Fulani? There are very few. The ones who have in Abuja. Or the few that dot spaces in Sokoto. I'm sure that you know that Sokoto, as we speak, is not a Fulani town.
Is it not?
No, that's a mistake we make. Zamfara is not a Fulani town. There are more houses in Zamfara than Fulani. There are more houses in Kano than Fulani.
But the Fulani govern.
They are in town. They are in charge.
Yes, so it's their town.
Yes. By subterfuge, by cunning, by crookedness, by all sorts of gimmickry.
Or by integration.
Not integration, by intimidation. And I said they are politically savvy. What they did to the rest of Nigeria, when they realized that the Fulani in the military, they could no longer use the military to retain power indefinitely. Since they've had power, they had access to the treasury, they say, oh yes, Edmond is from the east or wherever, brilliant man. He may likely oppose us and contest with us and rival us. Let's make him an ambassador. Let's give him an oil block. Let's make him a billionaire. We padlock his mouth. Let's get an Abiola. Make him a billionaire. Let's get this. Let's get that. And make them big. They will never be able to look us in the face. Then we can continue. Looting the treasury, we can continue. And once when we are in control of the treasury, we are in control of everywhere. So we can hire thugs. We can do whatever we would like. And that is why they introduced what I call plutocracy into Nigerian political etymology. Plutocracy.
Meaning?
Plutocracy is the government of the rich.
Yeah.
Oligarchy is the government of the muscle men.